Hi yoga teachers, it's Aneta Itchak here from Aneta Itchak Yoga and Wellness and Golden Mandala Yoga School. I wanted to say hello to all of those of you who have joined our group recently, so welcome to the group, lovely to have you here. And I wanted to also talk today a little bit about the conversations that I've been having with other yoga teachers in mentoring sessions and in our Thriving Yoga Teachers Hub, the group mentoring program. And these are the conversations about trauma-informed yoga and embodied resilience, and how many of us, even when we train in trauma-informed yoga, we still struggle with the language that we use and how we translate from what we learned into talking about this to our students. And one of the things that comes up again and again is that our students, our clients, don't have the same level or depth of understanding of what trauma is, what stress is, what trauma-informed approach is, and also what embodied resilience is, what embodiment is, what resilience is. And the language that we use, for example, when we talk between ourselves as yoga teachers, as yoga practitioners, as yoga therapists, needs to be different, or is different, and it needs to be different from the language that we use with our students. Certainly when we work with general population, when we teach general classes that are not specifically working with groups and populations that we know that have experienced a lot of trauma, like women who experience domestic violence or sexual abuse, or working in a crisis center when there is dual diagnosis, so addiction and mental health and complex needs, or working in prisons. These are the populations that we know for sure there's been loads of trauma, attachment-based trauma, growing up, adult trauma. We know that they have experienced trauma. But when we work with general population, we can sometimes we know that people have experienced trauma, but we don't know to what degree. We don't really know that much till we build the relationship with those individuals. We might not know what they experience. If they roll into our class, we might have had a few conversations with them, and we might not know to what degree they experience trauma or stress. And so we need to use slightly different language, because the word trauma is a huge word. It's like trauma, and some people maybe have not processed it yet. Maybe they don't want to talk about it. But what we can talk about is we can look at how we can translate it into talking about anxiety, about sleep problems, talking about feeling lack of confidence, or having a lot of self-doubt, or maybe having chronic pain or some tension, repetitive tension or pain in the body, maybe having problems with breathing. We can translate it into very specific things that people experience, those trauma symptoms or nervous system dysregulation symptoms that are often easily observable by us, and also easily observable by the person themselves when we point it out. Of course, you're waking up at 3 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Of course, you are unfocused because you're not sleeping very well. Of course, you've got this chronic pain and tension in your shoulders and the neck because you've been stressing so much, trying to work it out what to do, and that's affecting your sleep, and that's affecting your digestion, and that's affecting you going to the toilet, and that's, all of this. We can help our students to unpick all of this. And this is where the psychoeducational part comes in. Part of our role as practitioners who work with nervous system, who work with yoga, who work in a holistic way, is to educate our students, to help them understand and make those connections. It's like sometimes people come in, when I work with people, they got lots of different things, and it's like lots of different dots on a piece of paper, and they don't know, they haven't worked it out how to connect those dots. And through our education, we can help them understand, yes, of course, well, of course I'm feeling like this. This is what happened, and that is what happened. And when I'm here, this is how I'm feeling. And of course I'm feeling like this. So helping our students above everything else to cultivate curiosity and to cultivate compassionate acceptance can be profoundly life-changing. The thing that I see the most in my students and my clients is when they bring that curiosity, when they bring compassionate acceptance, there is a profound sense of relief that comes with it. You know, it's of course that makes sense. Of course I'm feeling like this. Of course, you know, and then you can see the physical shifts that happen in somebody, the shift in their physicality, their breath slows down, their shoulders relax, their belly relaxes. You know, you see that visibly, that shift in how they are. And then through our understanding of the nervous system, through our understanding of physiology, we know then, okay, so when there is that sense of relief, you can see it on their face, you can see it in their physiology, in their body, you know that the body is shifting from stress response into rest and digest response. Maybe from fight and flight into more of that stable social engagement. And maybe from the freeze and shutdown into more, yes, I am, more alertness, more awakening, and then shifting back into social engagement. So you can really observe that. When you know and you understand the nervous system and how it works, you can really see that. In fact, this is what we're going to be doing in our module 2 today, in trauma, resilience, embodied yoga and social impact training. But this comes up again and again, and it is a skill. Some of us, because of our upbringing and because of our conditioning and because of our studying and education, we have the skill of observing how somebody is. But for many of us, and most of us, we have to learn that skill. We might be able to be doing it intuitively, but what we want is to shift from, oh, I'm doing it on intuition, I don't know how it works, but it kind of works, into, okay, I'm doing this, I'm feeling it, and I know there is a system behind that I learned. I know it works like this. I can check what I'm feeling against the system, against the maps that I learned, and know from those 2 points of view, you know, from those 2 different sides, the intuitive side and the learned side, the theory side, the model side, that, okay, they meet here. This is what's happening in here. It's really useful to have both of those parts of our understanding. And so, you know, I've been delivering my own program, Learn to be Safely Embodied, with the focus on autumn. And we are it's an 8-week program that runs seasonally. And I've been running it with a group of women. And, you know, it is trauma-informed yoga and embodied resilience, but it's not for a population that I know has definitely, you know, experienced those big traumas. It is general kind of class. I know women who are doing this course with me because our paths have crossed. Some of them have been with me for a long time. Some of them recently joined my community. And it's absolutely amazing, the feedback that they're giving. You know, the feedback about just slowing down. And also not just learning about the nervous system and how it works a bit more in depth. And but also understanding the season, the rhythm and the season of autumn. What, if we live in line with nature, what the season of autumn is asking of us, and then bringing the nervous system understanding, and then noticing, okay, we're doing different practices, we're doing yoga and mindfulness, and we're doing somatic movement, we're doing some ritual, we're doing lots of breathing, we're doing some yoga nidra, we're doing some compassionate touch practices, and noticing, okay, these are different skills, these are different practices, and in that moment, knowing all of those, checking in with myself and noticing, what is it that I need? Okay, in this moment, this is the practice that will be the most welcome. And so it's about really knowing those different practices. It's like a toolbox. You've got lots of tools in there. And then you come in and you check in, okay, I'm feeling like this. Maybe right now I feel quite anxious. What would be really supportive for me to move me a bit more towards more self-regulation? Maybe in this moment I'm feeling really scared. What would be helpful? Maybe in this moment I'm feeling very hyped up because I've been working and I'm feeling up here. What would help me in this moment? What practice would be most useful? Or I'm feeling really shut down, like I just want to shut it all off because it's just been all too much and I just feel overwhelmed and squashed and everybody's infringing on my space. What practice would be the most useful in this moment? And so really thinking about this, it's not the practice, it's the practice that is most suitable, most useful, most supportive in this moment, in how I feel. So checking in how you feel, first of all, is the most important thing. Otherwise, we're just throwing, it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. Maybe something will stick. Maybe I take 10 breaths. Maybe I do some yoga. Maybe I go for a run. Maybe, it's like, it's a bit disconnected. So really knowing what's right. How am I? What do I need? What tool is the most useful in here? And that changes from moment to moment, from day to day. And so just really understanding, one of the teachers that I had a mentoring session this week, said really lovely, and I absolutely love that. She said this phrase, depth before focus. And I think it just shows it so well what I mean. We need to connect within first, whether we are practitioner or whether we are helping our student or our client to connect. That's the depth. We have to slow down, we have to turn inward, we have to notice with curiosity and compassion what's here, and we have to arrive at the point of compassionate acceptance before we are able to move into what's needed here in order to support me. So often we just jump into, I'm not feeling well, what can fix it? And often it doesn't fix it because there isn't that compassionate acceptance piece present. So just few thoughts today about trauma, about language that we use with trauma-informed approach when we work with our students, about the importance of checking in and then using our practices and our tools. I will be coming in regularly, possibly on Fridays, and every week I will be posting a little thread at the beginning of the week, possibly on Monday, asking you to just share some questions that you would want me to answer on Friday as I come in, as I talk a little bit more, as we explore this subject of, teaching trauma-informed yoga and embodied resilience for social impact. And because this kind of work really changes, and I'm seeing that with myself, and I am certainly seeing it with yoga teachers who have come through the training, that it really changes not just you as a practitioner, but really changes you as a person. It really changes how you relate to yourself and then how you relate to others in any situation and in any relationship, not just when you are in the role of yoga teacher or yoga therapist or yoga practitioner or somatic movement practitioner, but actually how you approach yourself, how you approach your life in any kind of situation that you are in. So have a really good weekend. Let me know what you think about this live. If you have got any questions, if you have got any insights, I always love hearing your feedback and your thoughts, your insights, and I always welcome any feedback. So it's all welcome here. Let's continue having that conversation and have a good weekend. Take care of yourself.